everyone, Sophia here for my great challenge and welcome back to my channel and something a little bit different. Today I'm going to share with you something that I actually enjoy doing and it's going to sound very weird, but I like to clean old pots and pans. Yes, I do. I love to thrift, you know that. I love to find old Corningware and cast iron pots, and I love spending the time restoring them to their original beauty. So today I'm going to show you how to properly clean, restore and season cast iron. And then I have a few pieces of Corningware that were either found or gifted to me that are kind of dingy and need to be cleaned out. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about cast iron because that's the one that takes the longest. So here's the scoop with cast iron, okay? It's been around forever. And if you take care of your cast iron properly, it will last you forever as well. Just kind of like Corningware. This is what I love about it. So now here's the deal. Most people see chefs on TV or, for instance, top of my head, somebody like the Pioneer Woman, right? They see her cooking in cast iron and she praises cast iron. Oh, it's great, blah, 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 get one. So they go and they buy a cast iron pot. The problem is that they don't know how to take care of it, how to clean it and re-season it on occasion. So what happens is that they end up getting unseasoned and they start sticking. And when they start sticking, people throw them out. And this one, this little griddle here, is one that was thrown out and I'm going to restore it. Okay, this is the only workout you're gonna see me do all day. These are all the cast iron pots that I found on the street that people have thrown out in my area. A really well seasoned cast iron pot should look like this. Not like that, and definitely not like that. So these two I need to season. So how do you do that? It's a process. It's a process, it takes a very long time, but once you've done it properly and you care for your cast iron, every time you use it, you won't have to re-season it and do the whole process. Cast iron pots and pans are so old and loved. There's people out there who not only collect every single one of them, okay, we talk, and that's heavy, all right? But they have the ones that used to belong to their great-great-grandparents. This is the stuff that the pioneers used to cook on. Later on, people were tired of cast iron pots that were still sticking, again, not knowing how to properly season them, so they added enamel to them, like these cast iron pot with the enamel in it. And then eventually people wanted to be able to cook fast, you know, so the aluminum and the stainless steel came out, and then they were still complaining that the stuff was sticking, so we ended up with the Teflon, okay? And then the copper, whatever. And of course the Corningware. But ultimately, if you ask me for my opinion, which I know you don't, but I'm gonna give it anyway, the best non-stick out there are either Corningware or cast iron. But cast iron, you have to have it well seasoned. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. The one thing that's super important about it is that you have to be careful of the water. Iron and water brings rust. So a lot of times you're going to find some cast iron that have rust spots and you have to remove them. So there's going to be some scraping that's involved. You don't want to scrape to the point where the black part of the cast iron goes away and then you end up with a silver finish. That's it, it's gone. It's over, you'll never be able to bring it back. But the one thing you want to make sure is that you get rid of all the water. So today I'm going to wash both of them because they need to be re-seasoned. And that's a process that you do probably 2-3 times a year as a deep process. And then I'm going to put them to the side, and every time I use them, I'll just lightly coat them. Ultimately, what you want is a glossy finish, like the one I just showed you. like this. You want that at the bottom of your cast iron. So you might have to repeat the steps that I'm showing you with regards to the coating of the oil. You might have to repeat that several times, sometimes 3 to 4 times, to get this patina and this glass finish over it. But we're not there yet. First, let's clean them. And by the way, before I get started, the entire process of seasoning your cast iron comes from the oven. So we're going to turn the oven on at 400 because the cast iron is going to have to cook with the oil on it for an hour in order to get this patina. And if you don't have the patina, guess what? You let your cast iron cool down, you add another layer of oil, and an hour it goes in the oven. You may have to do that 3-4 times before you get this nice finished gloss. So you definitely want to wear gloves for this process. But if you look at this one that was just thrown out, you can see where there's some areas where there's still a gloss to it. That's the original seasoning that Lodge, the company, put on. And you can see it on the edges here. But the middle part has been scrubbed and not re-seasoned. So we're going to re-season it. So you don't want to use a lot of soap. One of those little Brillo pads will do just fine. So I'm getting it wet, and I'm just going to scrub in little circles and get rid of food residues that are still there, and try to bring the patina that was there to a nice even coating. You don't want to have bumps. And again, you don't want to scrub it to the point where it becomes silver again. You don't want to have the core of the pan showing. Now if you have a very damaged pot, I'm going to show you a picture. This is a chain mile metal scrubber, and you can purchase those and really scrub your old pan. But that's for the ones that have a lot of crust and rust on them. Okay, I'm going to flip it around because I'm seasoning the front and the back. And this one is actually not bad. I've rescued worse spots than this. Okay, let's rinse it. Doing an inspection. It doesn't look like I have anything raised on it. Okay. Step 2 is the drying part. You really want to remove all the water. If you have any water left on it, what's going to happen is that you'll get rust patches. And remember, we're trying to put oil on this to season it, so oil and water don't mix. If you have any kind of wetness or humidity of water on your pot, the water will stop the oil from adhering to your pot. So take a paper towel and really dry it. Alright, I'm not going to address the oil on this one yet. I'm going to put it on the stove since it's heating up. The heat from the stove is going to help dry out all the rest of the water and humidity that's on this, and while that happens, I'm going to tackle my other cast iron pot. Okay, so this is another one that was a street find, and you can see they cooked something and they were like, cast iron and for me, so they threw it away. This is not a Lodge. I cannot tell you who made this one. Oh, it's a 9-inch, whichever. I'm going to restore it. So same process. Put a little bit of water on my Brillo and I'm going to scrub. So my oven is still heating up, and because it's bringing a little bit of heat, it's getting rid of all the leftover water I have on this one, and it's doing the same thing with this one. So you see how it's a matte finish right now, and I'm about ready to season them. But you can see I still have some seasoning in it, right? You see that beautiful shine? Okay, what do you need? It's not an expensive process, you just need oil. I recommend vegetable oil, but you can also use Crisco if you want. Don't use lard, don't use olive oil. You just want vegetable oil or Crisco. And what you want to do is pretty simple. You're going to take your pan and you're going to pour quite a bit of vegetable oil in it. And then you take a big wad of paper towels or a rag, whatever, and you're going to spread this in circles, and you want to cover the entire pan. My oven is ready. That includes the handle. So watch out, because it makes it slippery when you handle it. And remember, they're really heavy. Let's add a little bit more. Don't hesitate, cover it in oil. Because what you want is that oil to bake onto the surface of the pot. And create that glossy patina. It almost creates its own enamel. Okay, so this is nicely covered. I'm going to keep that wad for later, for my other pot. Alright, and if I have a little bit too much, I just dab here and there. I'm going to put this one back on the stove. It's not ready to go in the oven yet. I got to do the other one. So in the oven, I have my two pizza stone. So I don't need to put aluminum foil underneath it. And what I'm doing is taking my pan and I'm putting it upside down like this, directly onto my pizza stone. Whatever excess oil I have will go on the pizza stone and will be used for that patina anyway. So you leave it like that. And you're going to let it bake for an hour. Do you find it weird that I enjoy doing that? I really do. I don't know why. I find it very therapeutic. So anyway, it's going to bake for an hour. You put it upside down so that the residual or extra oil drips down. And again, I don't need to put any aluminum foil or anything on mine because it's going to drip directly onto my pizza stone, and it's going to be part of the seasoning of my pizza stone. After an hour, what you need to do is just turn off the oven and you're gonna let your cast iron cool down. You then pull it out and then you look at it. If you feel that it could use another coat, then do the same process. Not the washing process, just the coating process. Put some more oil on it, put it back in the oven. You can do that 3, 4 times, 5 times, it doesn't matter. But basically this is what seasoning does. Now what do you do once it's seasoned? You're going to cook in it. You're still going to put oil or butter or whatever it is that you want to do for your browning process. If you're doing chicken, sausages, vegetables, it doesn't matter. And when you're done cooking, technically nothing should stick, all right? But what you want to do is take a paper towel, make a wad, and then remove anything that's extra. You may want to scrape a little bit with a spatula. You can use a wooden spatula or metal spatula. And clean it very lightly if there is stuff that really got stuck, and then you just want to coat it with oil again. And if your oven is on, leave it in the oven for a couple of minutes or maybe half an hour maximum. You don't even have to have it at 400. And then let it cool and put it back on its shelf or hanging wherever you keep it. But every time you use it, before you store it, you do want to put a little bit of coat of oil on it. If you want to re-season it, which technically you shouldn't have to if you're taking care of your pots properly. If you got to re-season it, you do the whole process that I'm just showing you. But if you just do that light coating every time you use it, you're going to be good to go for quite some time actually. Do I re-season them often? No, maybe twice a year. Or if one of the kids really scrubbed too hard and damaged the patina that I had. And again, this is what you want it to look like. This is a very well seasoned. This is a lodge actually, and I love this one for chicken thighs. We're gonna move on to Corningware. This is a test that's going to require a hot tea. So let me show you what I got here. When I went to Ohio, my mother-in-law gave me her original Corningware, which is the blue corn flour, because that's what most people had back in the days. There's the Heat-O-Matic. This is so great, I love it. Okay, but the Heat-O-Matic, obviously I've seen better days. They used it to take it to church. It's all grimy, and then all of the buttons here need a serious, thorough cleaning. The pot itself is not too bad. It's clean on the inside. Look, can you believe this is over 50 years old? It's like brand new, right? That's why I love Corningware. But there's some residual baked on food here. The bottom is a little bit scratched. The Pyrex lid doesn't even say Pyrex. Oh yeah, right here it does. The lid needs some cleaning too. Alright, so we're gonna clean that. And then she gave me the original percolator, which is great. And that's the percolator before they even recalled them. So that's a good percolator. So I'm going to remove this because we don't need all of that. But would you look at the inside of this percolator? It's been used quite a lot, right? It made probably the best coffee in town for quite some time. So that needs to be cleaned. And then I found this one on the street. So this one is the roaster. It's the original roaster. And it was in a box of all manner of pots and pans. Clearly, grandma passed away and the children didn't want any other stuff. So her beloved roaster ended up in the trash. And I'm looking at it and it's clearly been used quite a lot. But the inside is all dull. Can you see that? It doesn't have, yeah. All right, so it's all dull, okay. The back is scratched. And would you believe it if I tell you that most of this, if not all of it, oh, I look better with the white reflection, don't I? Or refraction, whatever it is. We're gonna keep it like that. Would you believe that I can actually remove most, if not all of this? You just gotta have the right product. So the last thing you wanna use is bleach. Do not use bleach on anything you eat with or cook with, all right? So no bleach. Do I want to use something that's abrasive? No, because you're going to damage. Remember, this is glass, okay? So you don't want to do that. That's one of the reasons why I'm a little concerned with the bottom here. I have a feeling that they use a metal scrubber on this and it actually scratched it. So we'll see. Can I bring it back? So the one thing you want to use is good old barkeeper's friend. And maybe you want to use a magic eraser. So I have Mr. Clean magic eraser. I have Barkeeper's Friend, which is the good old-fashioned non-abrasive cleaner that will also whiten stuff. So this you can use on anything that's enamel, porcelain. You can use it on stainless steel. You can use it on your sink. The only thing you don't want to use it on is granite countertop and marble. They're porous. And if you don't find Barkeeper's Friend, there's this one. Now this is super old. The Bon Ami powders, scouring powder, has been around, I would say almost a century, if not more. If not more. This thing is really, really old and you can still buy it. This obviously is the new packaging. I'll put a picture right here of the old original packaging, but you're gonna use that. And what I'm gonna do first is put some really hot water in the percolator, and I'm gonna dump a whole bunch of the Barkeeper's Friend in it, and it's gonna sit for a minute. Then I'm gonna empty it, and then I'll make a paste out of my Barkeeper's Friend or the Bon Ami, and I will scrub away this old coffee residue. Actually, I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna use the Bon Ami because I haven't used that in such a long time. If you're watching me for the first time, you're probably thinking, this girl is nuts. Who comes alive cleaning Corningware and cast iron? I do. And if you knew, I know a thing or two about Corningware. Maybe I should have a Corningware channel where I just sit and talk about my Corningware all day. What do you think? How about that for content? Okay, let's dump a whole bunch of this in here. And I'm gonna get really hot water, and I'm gonna fill the hot water all the way to the top. Okay, and we're gonna let it sit. So now I'm gonna take care of this one. So what I did here was put a tiny bit of water at the bottom, and I poured the Bon Ami powder like this. And I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit, leave it alone, and then I'll come back and start scrubbing. I'm very interested to see if they did manage to scratch the surface of Corningware, which I doubt, or if it's just baked on, caked on grime that can be removed. Now, you know, because this is a roaster, there is some knife marks in it. So I don't know. I don't even have the roaster in the pattern that I collect. I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for it. So I just dumped my magic eraser with a little bit of water. And I'm gonna work in circles. All right, moment of truth. It's like brand new. Let's look at the back. Okay, so this is almost like brand new. Like I said, this one is almost 60 years, if not more. Corningware will always go back to its original state. Even though the stuff looked like it was really baked on. So I'm drying it because I'm sure that some of the water in it makes it look like it's shiny. But I want to show you that even when it's dry, right? Okay, so let's do the coffee pot. And by the way, over here it's been an hour, so I'm just gonna turn it off. And I'm gonna let it cool down, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like after it's cooled down and one good coat of the seasoning is on. Moving on to the percolator. So this has been in there for way over an hour. Alright, doesn't look like much happened, but I'm gonna add some Bon Ami to it. And this one, I'm gonna go at it with the Brillo pad because it's the inside, I don't really care. So there's some improvement. The bottom part is better, but I still need to scrub. Let's pour the stuff out, and it looks better. Somehow I know I can get this cleaner. Okay, one more round. And then over here, this one is practically like brand new. I cleaned all of the knobs. There's no more grease in the corner. I cleaned this nice and clean. The inside is like brand new. The plate is like brand new. And I got all of the grime that was on the underside. This one is looking much better. And same thing. There's nothing on the other side, and the back is clean. Now this one is looking beautiful on the outside. On the inside, it's not where I want it to be. I'm gonna get those denture tabs. It's much better, but I know I can get it to be like brand new. This is burnt coffee, years and years and years of burnt coffee that stayed in this pot. Believe me when I tell you, you can get it back to factory default. You just gotta keep working at it, but it's much better. Not where I want it to be, but much better. So denture tab is next for this one. So this was my therapy. I spent several hours doing this and I thoroughly enjoy it. Call me weird. I enjoy cleaning my Corningware. What can I say? This is one of the things that I enjoy doing. I could do that for another 2-3 hours, but I gotta go and edit videos. Now to the question, am I starting a blue corn flour collection? No. One, I don't have the room. Two, it's not my favorite pattern. You know what my favorite pattern is. However, I am mad that I'm yet to find a roaster in my pattern Spice of Life. I'm gonna have to keep my eyes peeled. Next time I go to Goodwill or whatever, I'm sure I'll find it. I enjoy finding them in the wild. That's me. But anyway, so the bottom line is this, okay? You gotta know how to use the cast iron. Again, it's still a little hot. This is much better than what I had at the beginning, but it's not where it needs to be. It needs another 2 to 3 coats of oil on it to create this glass-like effect. That's what's gonna keep it from sticking when you are braising or sauteing or anything you do with those cast irons. So if you want to invest in a cast iron pot or a cast iron pan, I encourage you to do so. They really are great. They will last you forever. They are an awesome investment, and they are relatively very inexpensive. I mean, you can get one pan like this for 25 bucks and it would last you a lifetime. Think about how many pots and pans you've been through already through your lifespan, okay? Unless it's Corningware and you still use it. But these are the 2 best way of cooking, but they do come with, you know, some drawback. the cast iron, you have to keep seasoning it and you have to maintain it. If you don't maintain it, it ends up on the side of the road and I pick it up and then I'll maintain it. But I'm not starting a collection of cast iron either. And by the way, one of the greatest things about eating with cast iron is that it will leak iron in your food. So if you're iron deficient, it's not a huge amount, but if you're iron deficient, it would actually help you get a little bit of iron in your food. And then the Corningware, I got nothing else to say. You know how I feel about it. I absolutely love it. All of my Corningware is my age. It's 52 years old. It's like it got out of the store. I just pulled it out of the box, okay? I take care of it. I cook with it all the time. It's great. So get yourself some Corningware the next time you go to the thrift store. Do not buy Corningware that's brand new. It's not the same quality. It's nothing like what it used to be. So pick a pattern that you like. Preferably not Spice of Life, because then you're gonna start taking pieces away from me. We don't want that. And enjoy it. And same thing with the cast iron. The only thing, again, cast iron is super heavy. So if you have, you know, carpal tunnel or anything like that, it's not ideal. But I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna go upstairs, freshen up a little bit, have a cup of tea, another one, and start editing. Thank you for watching this video. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at My Great Challenge, and vintage finds, no Corningware, on my Etsy shop, Frenchie and Tabby. And if you want a more personal glimpse into my life and my family life, you can join me on Patreon at patreon.com/mygreatchallenge. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.